You know that feeling when you're lying in bed at night, scrolling through your phone, and suddenly you stop because you're thinking about them? Not in that obsessive, why haven't they texted back way, but in this quiet, almost surprising where you just smile. Like you're not even trying to think about them, but they just pop into your head and suddenly your whole chest feels warm. And then you wonder, wait, is this what everyone talks about? Is this actually real, or am I just really good at convincing myself? Because here's the thing. We've all been in situations where we thought someone was perfect for us, right? We ignored the red flags, we made excuses, we stayed way longer than we should have because we wanted it to work so badly. But then there's those rare moments, those rare people, where it just feels different. Not perfect, not like a movie, but different in a way that's hard to explain. And today, I'm going to walk you through 10 signs that might just prove you're not imagining it this time, that you both might actually be truly meant to be together. But here's the catch, and this is important. These aren't the signs you think they are. Stick with me because number 7 is going to completely change how you see your relationship. And number 10, it's the one most people miss entirely, and it's probably the most important one of all. So let's dive in. But first, really quick, if you've ever felt this way about someone, hit that like button because I want to know I'm not alone in this. All right. Sign number 1, and this one's subtle, but it's massive. You can be silent together without it being weird. Now, I know that sounds simple, but think about it. How many people have you been around where the second there's a quiet moment, you panic? You scramble for something to say, you pull out your phone, you start narrating what you're seeing out the window like you're a tour guide. But with this person, you can just exist. You're driving, no music, no talking, just vibes. And it's not awkward, it's not uncomfortable. It's actually kind of nice. That's rare, because silence reveals comfort, and comfort reveals safety. And safety, that's the foundation of everything real. But here's where it gets interesting, because sign number 2 flips that completely. You can also talk for hours about absolutely nothing. Like, you'll start a conversation about whether cereal is a soup, and 3 hours later you're debating the meaning of life, sharing childhood stories and laughing so hard your stomach hurts. There's no topic that's off limits, no subject that feels too boring or too deep. You genuinely enjoy hearing them talk, even when they're rambling about something you don't fully understand. And they feel the same way about you. That balance, that ability to be both silent and endlessly talkative, that's chemistry that goes beyond surface-level attraction. Now, here's where people start to get it wrong, because sign number 3 isn't about grand gestures or expensive dates. It's this: they remember the small things you say. You mentioned once, maybe in passing, that you love a specific type of candy you used to eat as a kid. 2 months later, they show up with it. You told them you don't like being touched when you're upset, and guess what? They never do. They don't fix you, they don't push, they just remember. And that's not luck, that's not coincidence. That's someone who's actually paying attention because they care. It's someone who sees you as a priority, not a project. But wait, because sign number 4 is the one that separates real love from trauma bonding, and a lot of people confuse the two. You don't feel like you have to perform around them. You don't have to be funnier, smarter, prettier, more successful. You can show up in sweatpants with messy hair, no makeup, tired from a long day, and they look at you the same way they did when you were all dressed up. There's no pressure to be on all the time. You're not auditioning for their love, you already have it. And that ease, that lack of performance anxiety, that's what real intimacy looks like. Now here's where it gets deep, and I need you to really pay attention because sign number 5 is one most people overlook entirely. You challenge each other in healthy ways, not fighting, not tearing each other down, but calling each other out when you're being unreasonable or self-destructive. They'll say, "Hey, I love you, but that's not fair," or "I think you're avoiding this because you're scared, and that's okay, but let's talk about it." And instead of getting defensive, you actually listen, because they're not attacking you, they're reflecting you. And you do the same for them. That's growth. That's partnership. That's two people who aren't just trying to keep the peace, they're trying to build something real. But here's the twist, and this is sign number 6. You both know when to let things go. Not everything needs to be a deep conversation. Not every annoyance needs to be addressed. You've learned to recognize what's worth talking about and what's just you being in a bad mood. You don't keep score. You don't bring up past mistakes in every argument. You've both decided, consciously or not, that being right is less important than being together. And that maturity, that's what separates a relationship that lasts from one that just exhausts you. Now, remember I told you sign number 7 was going to shift everything. Here it is. You're scared sometimes, but you stay anyway. Listen, if you're never scared, you probably don't care that much. Real love is terrifying because it matters. You're scared they'll leave, scared you'll mess it up, scared of how much you need them. But the difference is, instead of running, instead of self-sabotaging, you communicate. You say, hey, I'm feeling vulnerable right now. And they don't make fun of you, they don't dismiss it, they hold space for it. And you do the same for them. That fear doesn't mean it's wrong, it means it's real. And staying through the fear, that's courage, that's commitment, that's love. But don't go anywhere, because sign number 8 is about something we don't talk about enough. Your nervous systems regulate around each other. Okay, stay with me. This is science, but I'll keep it simple. When you're stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, their presence actually calms you down, not because they're saying the right things, not because they're solving your problems, but because your body feels safe around them. Maybe it's the way they hold your hand, or the sound of their voice, or just sitting next to them. Your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, you feel less alone. And here's the beautiful part, you do the same for them. You're each other's safe place. And that's not something you can fake, that's biology recognizing home. And now we're getting to the final stretch, and these last two are the ones that really seal it. Sign number 9, you both want the same kind of life. Not every single detail, not the exact same 5-year plan, but the big picture stuff. You both value family, or freedom, or adventure, or stability. You both want kids, or you both definitely don't. You both see relationships as a priority, not something you'll get to eventually. You're not trying to change each other into someone else. You're not waiting for them to finally want what you want. You already want the same things. And that alignment, that's not something you can compromise on. You can't negotiate core values. And when you're aligned on the big stuff, the small stuff becomes so much easier to navigate. And finally, sign number 10, the one most people miss, the one that really tells you everything you need to know. You're both willing to do the work. Because here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Being meant to be doesn't mean it's always easy. It doesn't mean you never fight, never doubt, never feel frustrated or misunderstood. What it means is that when things get hard, you both choose each other anyway. You both go to therapy if you need to. You both read the books, have the uncomfortable conversations, apologize when you're wrong, and forgive when you're hurt. You're both willing to grow, to change, to look at your own patterns and say, okay, I need to work on this. Because love isn't something you find and then coast on forever. Love is something you build every single day with intention and effort and care. And if you're both willing to do that, if you're both showing up not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard, that's not luck, that's not fate, that's choice. And that choice, made over and over again, is what creates a love that lasts. So here's my final thought, and I really want you to sit with this. You can have chemistry with a lot of people. You can have fun, have passion, have moments that feel magical. But finding someone where all 10 of these signs line up, where you have the silence and the conversation, the safety and the challenge, the alignment and the willingness to grow, that's rare. That's special. And if you have that, don't take it for granted. Don't let fear or pride or past hurt convince you to walk away from something real. Because at the end of the day, being truly meant to be isn't about destiny or soulmates or some cosmic force pushing you together. It's about two people who see each other clearly, flaws and all, and say, yeah, I choose you. Every day, I choose you. And if that's not beautiful, I don't know what is. If this resonated with you, do me a favor and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And let me know in the comments, how many of these signs do you have with your person? All right, I'll see you in the next one.